Hey, well, I'm walking to my evening classes, and I've had a pretty good reading day. Not a lot of time to read, but I'm happy with what I've read, because I knew I wouldn't have much time. Might get a little bit more in before the night is over, but I'm not sure there'll be another update other than this. And mostly I just want to vent. I actually filmed a vent about Amazon yesterday, Amazon Japan, and then the problem seemed to be resolved, so I edited it out so you didn't have to listen to it when it was a short-term thing. But no, it's a long-term thing. I'm having suddenly a dickens of a time with Amazon, and I don't want you to see the tantrum that I'm actually feeling inside. I want to give you a much more entertaining, a little bit toned down version of it. So I hope I don't start shouting, because that's what I feel like doing. I've been using Amazon Japan since I lived in Japan, and they've been so reliable and so great. But suddenly in the last 3 weeks since I came back from Canada, it's just gone to shit. So I always get my deliveries. You can get a just regular delivery, and then it takes a few days to come, or you can get it as a scheduled delivery if you pay a little bit more, or expedited delivery if you pay a little bit more, same day expedited or whatever. But I have always used scheduled delivery, and then I choose the day and the 2-hour window when the delivery will be made, and it works like a charm. I only have to be home for 2 hours, or if it's in the morning, it's 3-hour window, and then I can plan it around my schedule. That's why they call it scheduled delivery. Well, starting about 3 weeks ago, nothing that I wanted to order, and it was 99.9% books, but nothing I wanted to order was available for scheduled delivery anymore. And I'm now a Prime member. They don't tell you that it's not eligible for scheduled delivery until you're almost finished placing the order. So then you got to choose another option, and I have tried expedited deliveries, which is either same day or next day, but then they don't give you a time window, and it always comes when I'm not home. Not a big deal, not a huge inconvenience. It's all free. With a Prime membership, it's all free. But then if I'm not home when it gets delivered, they give me a delivery slip, which is completely in Japanese, and you have to go to that delivery company's website, and that website is all in Japanese, so I don't have the Japanese skills, certainly reading to do it. So I have to get Kenji to do it. Now, Kenji's a very, very busy salaryman, and we almost had an argument last week when I asked him to do it. And he is a very reasonable, gentle guy, but when he's working, 14-hour days or whatever, and he comes home at the end of a long day, the last thing he wants to do is to do a redelivery thing, even though it takes 3 minutes. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to do the expedited delivery anymore, but then I placed another order, and I thought it must have just been a fluke that the scheduled delivery wasn't available, but no, it wasn't available for any of the 6 books I ordered last weekend. And I was on the chat room help with an Amazon representative, and she was useless, couldn't help me at all, and I was shouting at her through the chat window, typing all cap letters, "This is ridiculous." Let's take a little pause here, shall we? Oh dear, they saw me. I got caught. Oops. What was I talking about? La. She couldn't give me an explanation of why none of these books were available for scheduled delivery, but they were all available for same-day delivery or so the other option is convenience store delivery. So they will drop it off at a convenience store of your choice, close to your house, and then you just go and show them the code, show your ID, pick up your delivery. And I'd used that once before. I think the very first time it worked like a charm. So I thought, okay, I'll get them delivered to this convenience store, and I could make the story much longer and more complicated, but I'm not going to. So there was another little glitch yesterday, and that glitch got solved. So today I went to the convenience store, a 5-minute walk from my house, and I had the Amazon gave me the instruction in English. Go to the little kiosk machine, select English language, select delivery services, put in the tracking number, and then put in the other code, and it'll print out a receipt, take it to the front desk, and they'll give you your package. Well, I selected English, and I selected delivery services, and then from there on, once that app opened, everything was in Japanese. So I just took a guess that the first blank would be the tracking number, and the second blank would be the code, but then what do I hit next? And there's no enter button. So I tried one, it's kicked me out, and then I did it all again. I tried another, kicked me out. I was like, I can't use Amazon anymore because I need somebody, I need Kenji to do all this stuff for me. It's ridiculous. So I couldn't pick up my deliveries. And I need Kenji to go and do that, and maybe he can teach me how to do it so that I don't need to have him go with me every time. But I am so furious. So, number one, I've lived in Japan for 9 years. I should be able to live more of my life in Japanese than I can. Let's be honest. A big part of this is just my responsibility, but at the same time, I have good reasons why I've never learned Japanese, not only because I'm lazy, but, I work in English all day, and my Japanese friends, including my now husband, want to speak English to me on my off hours, so it's kind of hard to pick up Japanese, but I'm also lazy and not motivated. Putting that aside, I have been using Amazon for years with no need to do Japanese. Occasionally, once every 2 months, I might have to get Kenji to arrange a redelivery because the website or the whatever wasn't in English, but, scheduled delivery suddenly is not available, but it's available for same-day delivery. That doesn't make sense! So I'm very frustrated because I need Amazon. If I want physical books, I really need Amazon. I buy a lot of books from Book Depository through Amazon, and maybe that's just the way I'm going to have to go from now on, right? If it's on, maybe that's the answer. That means I have to wait 10 days, but Book Depository is reliable. I hear Americans complaining about Book Depository all the time. I've never had a trouble, never. Comes to Japan regularly within 10 days or whatever the time schedule, with 2 weeks or less. So maybe from now on, when I want books, if I can't resolve this situation, I'm just going to have to do that and wait the 2 weeks. Rarely do I need a book any sooner than 2 weeks, but it's just when it's in stock in Japan, and I can get it tomorrow, but I can't get it on a scheduled delivery tomorrow or the next day, with the 2-hour waiting time. That just doesn't make sense. So I'm just at my wit's end. Okay, enough about that. That's my rant. That's the bulk of today's vlog. Except those cute Japanese boys. So I teach in this building on Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday night. And in terms of reading, I was quite disappointed by the third book of the Erpenbeck novel. But I've looked on Goodreads, and several other people said that it was the weakest chapter. It was all about, most of it was in the Soviet Union, and the characters were all being referred to by initials, and I found it really hard to follow, and it was way too political. For my taste, it made perfect sense in terms of the story that was being told, but it was kind of the problem I had with Wolitzer's The Female Persuasion. It was just all political movement stuff and characters that are connected that way. I just fall asleep. And way too much 20th century European history that was kind of detached from the actual story. So no, I was unhappy with it, even though the final paragraph of that chapter was gorgeous. I will read it here because it almost made up for what I thought was a very mediocre chapter, but I'm looking forward to the next 2 books. Many years ago, one person said a word, and then another said another word. Words moved the air. Words were written down on paper with ink and clipped into binders. Air was balanced out with air, and ink with ink. It's a shame that no one can see the boundary where words made of air and words made of ink are transformed into something real as a bag of flour, a crowd in which revolt is stirring, just as real as the sound with which the frozen bones of Comrade H slid down into a pit in the winter of '41, sounding like someone tossing wooden domino tiles back into their box. When it's cold enough, something that was once made of flesh and blood can sound just like wood. I read some other stuff, but nothing to comment on. I think I gotta go, and I don't even know what time it is. And I see there's an answer from Amazon because I sent another ranty email. Because finally I was able to get an email address where a live person would read my message and reply in English. So I just gave him or her a piece of my mind. So we'll see what they say. All right, let's wrap this up. I'm standing outside the Family Mart where I couldn't get my books before, and I've got them now. So this is a happy ending. And I thought, do I really want to post all this? Doesn't have much to do with books or reading or women in translation readathon really, but yeah, you know what? It does. It certainly has a lot to do with translation and trying to, make your way into another culture. So I'm going to leave it in, and if you don't like it, don't watch it. The lesson I've learned once again today is that it's okay to ask for help in any language, and it was kind of an overreaction that I felt shy to ask Kenji for help, because Kenji is almost always delighted to help me and is always a great help to me, but I just caught him on a bad day last week, so we'll sort that out. And he, never mind about that. But I asked my students for help about what I needed to ask in Japanese to get help with the machine from the staff back here, and so I used that new language. Can I find my paper here? Some of it I knew. The truth is I probably knew enough Japanese to ask for enough help, but I didn't know how to say, I have 2 books here to pick up. So, hon wa tori nikimashita. That's new to me, nikimashita. Tori nikimashita. And Nihongo wa yomanai. I don't read Japanese, but monitor no Nihongo wa yomanai. I'm pointing to the machine. Tetsudate kudasai. I know, it means please help me. And then the tracking number. I have 2 tracking numbers. Watashi no futatsu tsuiseki bango wa arimasu. And that was all I needed. In fact, I probably didn't need that much. And as it turned out, I think there was a problem with the way that my 2 Amazon packages had been coded in at this location, which is why I wasn't able to do it myself, because to make a long story short, this really friendly young guy, he helped me with it, and he had to go back and do something, and then we tried it again, and it worked. Tickety-boo, excuse the pun, because the tickets came out and I could claim it and it was all fine. So I think there was a combination of mistakes, but I have my books. I don't think I'll show them to you. One is a gift for a lovely new friend, and the other one is a novel that has a beautiful cover, but I'll probably feature it at page 112 tag before I show you the cover. Anyway, I'm going to go home, edit this, put it up, go to bed. Tomorrow is a big reading day, and so is Friday, so we'll see how much more I get done. But I'm ending this day feeling gratitude to the universe. Thanks for watching.